Good morning, everyone. My name is Amy. Welcome to Home Sweet Gardens. I am in Northwest Missouri, growing zone 6A. This is the 15th garden tour, I do believe. It is August 8th, 2020. It's getting later in the year. The weather has definitely started changing a little bit. It rained this morning. Let's see how much I got. Just over about a half an inch from last night sometime. I don't know when it started until this morning. It's about 11:30 right now. It rained pretty good. I've pulled a lot of things out of the garden that have ended their cycle, their season, whatnot, and then started planting some more things in the fall garden. The thing that I am the most amazed about is not the vegetables this year, but my sunflowers. If you can see behind me, they are just gigantic and absolutely beautiful. I didn't think they were supposed to get this tall. Pleasant surprise. I'm okay with that, but yeah, pretty neat. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Isn't that just beautiful? That, my friends, is an okra flower. And that would be the number one reason why I grow these plants. As some of you recall, I have never had these before, never grown them, so I was going to try it. I try to grow a few different things every year that to experience something new. I don't like them. Put it simple. I don't care for okra. The plants are absolutely gorgeous, though. I mean, the nice, huge green foliage. The flowers are just, I think they're prettier than some flowers you buy to put in pots. Just absolutely gorgeous. It's producing. I've been trimming them back because I planted them too close together, but they are still producing very nicely. I wanted to show you another one right here. Look at that. It's just absolutely amazing. Just beautiful. Look at the pollen in there. So they're doing well. They're starting to really get full. Like I said, I've had to cut quite a few branches off and stuff to make room. If I grow it next year, I would definitely give it some more space. I would only grow it to give it away, though, because I don't care for the taste of it. My bell pepper plants, I keep saying bell, my Cubanelle pepper plants, I actually got a few off, but I cut them back last week. You can see I topped them. They were getting very, very tall, and I wanted them to bush out a bit more, so I topped them. So I'm not going to have anything on them for a little while, but, give a couple weeks and they'll bounce back and become pretty full. My lonely butternut squash plant, the one that I've had left, I have been babying, and it is doing very well. I've still got my 2 sole fruits. Got my one in there, and it's starting to get a little bit of that tan color on the end. And then I have this one here, which is starting to get that tan color on it as well. It's the first time I've grown this variety, this Viola, so it's a new experience for me. Squash bugs are still prevalent, but not quite as bad. I'm trying to take care of them as much as I can every day coming out. I did put 3 more butternut squash plants in the ground to try and get an extra crop in for the fall, possibly. And here's the one. The other one is pretty sad looking. It's there, but it's not doing very well. And then the other one never came up. I don't know if I'm going to get anything from them because they say 50 day, and I had I think 71 or 80 days at the time that I planted them, but then the weather went down to like 80s, and it's been kind of crazy. So it's gonna be a crapshoot as to whether I get anything from it or not. I don't know. Okay, so all the lettuce over here is gone, and in its place I have put beets and radishes. The radishes I planted are called, sorry, watching the car go by. I have such an attention span problem. It's ridiculous. Are the ones that are red on the top and white on the bottom. I can't remember the name of them now. But anyway, I'll look at it and put it on the screen. But they're not supposed to be quite as hot. I don't like hot radishes. And of course the beets. I planted them again in the spring. I'm planting them again in the fall. These are my dragon tongue bush beans. They, excuse me, are actually quite, for a bush bean, they sure do put on a lot of runners, as you can see. And I'm not sure, there's little, yeah, they're starting to flower a little bit, but I'm not sure if I've got something, what's happening, but I've got the little ends of them all are nibbled. There's a really fat rabbit that sits across the street and watches my garden. And I think that might be the culprit, but I don't know for sure. This is funny, I showed this to you guys last week, but check that out. That is an offshoot of the sunflower, because I topped it, cut the head off of it because I wanted to dry it, and then another one came in its place. I did not know they did that. I thought once you cut them, they were done. Apparently not for that one. It wanted to live on. I have a couple of volunteer Brad's Atomic Grape tomato plants. Now I cannot stand tomatoes. I don't even like the smell of the plants. But I decided I'd go ahead and leave these here just because they were, so determined to grow. I didn't have the heart to kill them, but I don't like them. They stink and I just, don't like them. But I've got a second one growing down here, and I basically just kind of grabbed it and like stuffed it up underneath the sunflower, let the sunflower plant hold it up. And here's my sunflowers. They're supposed to be orange and red, but I'm not sure what color's what. I can't see any of them. They're not quite there yet. But they're absolutely gorgeous. Super thick stalks. Oh my gosh. And what's neat is, check this out. It looks like it's going to have a whole bunch of baby sunflowers. That might be normal, but I've only grown sunflowers once before. They were the mammoth sunflowers, and they didn't have any offshoots or anything. So maybe I had defective ones or something. I'm not sure. Oh, my patio still looks very nice. I spent a lot of time weeding it. Nice to enjoy it, at least if it's only for a little bit. My mixed flowers growing, absolutely beautiful. I got a couple. I got one cucumber plant there that I planted, and one over there that I planted. My climbing rose bush is starting to take off. This thing has got to be the stickeriest stinking rose bush I've ever seen in my life. It gets me every time I get near it. Oh, there's a flower petal stuck on the top of my cucumber leaf. Okay, my corn. It looks sad. I don't even know what to say. I'm wondering if, because the soil is great soil, it's what I've used in all the beds. I'm wondering if these metal tubs aren't heating up the soil and almost like cooking the plants. I don't know. This is a mammoth sunflower, although I don't know if there's going to be a head on it or not. I don't know. But Roselle Reds. And then this is my favorite of all my, this one, oh, it's losing its petals, but it is the most unique flower and it smells absolutely gorgeous. Man, it is muggy out today. With all of the rain that we got and the heat, it's gonna be not a very fun day outside. But that's okay. I've got, if you can see my pear tree there, pretty much all of my pears are gone because last weekend, if you saw the video, I'll link it in here, but we picked pears yesterday, or last Sunday, I'm sorry. but got them all picked in a bucket truck. It was a little bit scary. All right, I've got some more purple queen bush beans coming up sporadically. I have since pulled them from the other bed because they had finished out their life cycle, so I pulled them. I will amend that bed and get ready for my fall. I'm probably going to put onions in there and garlic if I can get my seeds and starts in time. You can see my banana wax peppers. Starting to get a few of them on there. Yay, it's flowers. I'm very excited. It's about time. Volunteer cucumber is what it turned out to be. I wasn't sure, remember, I didn't know what kind of plant it was. Anyway, there's the proof. It's a cucumber plant. They look so much alike when they are first growing that sometimes it's really difficult to tell what's what. Okay, so I ripped out all the cucumbers that are on this trellis here, and I have planted more Asian red long beans, and they have since come up. They grow really fast, so I will start weaving them in through this trellis. It's interesting because I planted both of them at the same time, but look at how small these are compared to the other side. I just think that's fascinating. The dirt's a little different, soil, but for the most part, it's, you know, they get the same amount of sun, same amount of light. Just, I don't know, odd. My eggplants, I've got some flowers on them. They are somewhat of an ugly plant, aren't they? I think so anyway. They're not the prettiest. But here's my little flower for my eggplant. These are Oswald. I've never had them before, so it'll be interesting. Marigolds are looking good. My squash plant finally gave up and died. The squash bugs got to it. I've got another, I think, a cucumber over there in the compost pile. Here are my Asian long beans, pretty much the pride of my garden this year. I just kind of let them grow all willy-nilly and however they were going to do it. And because I've never grown them before, but I got to reading and watching some videos on them, and they need to be groomed so that you can get the maximum amount of produce from them. And if I can get this to show you, oh, wrong way, there we go. Do you see that right there? It's just a tangled knot of mess of vines. And so this next set that I'm growing down here that I just planted on the trellis, I'm going to groom them more and kind of train them a little bit and see if that helps. We'll see. But this one is kind of deformed. Oh, it looks like maybe it got a hole in it or something. I normally pick them a little bit young. I like them more tender to eat because I like to eat them raw. But I'm going to be canning some of them, so I'm going to let them get longer, a little more to their full maturity, and then start picking them so they're going to get longer and fill up more. If you notice right here, you see the white, these are solar lights. My husband bought these for me a couple years ago or a year ago. I put them up and they are so pretty. At night they light up, and in the morning when I leave for work, I look down here and I see just a light little glow, and with the squash plant over it, it is so pretty. I think next year I'll put my long beans on this trellis because, you know, you want to rotate your crops anyway, but I want to put those over here because I think they'll look really cool hanging down with those lights and look really neat. My rose bushes are still rosing out. They're still putting on blooms and blossoms. Very exciting. My grapes. The birds are leaving me some, not a lot. You can see they're definitely having a fine dining experience, but they are ripening. I've been eating them just as I'm down the garden. Because if I wait to pick them, there won't be any left. So sweet. Just amazing. Brussels sprouts are doing well. As you can see, I've been cutting the bottom branches off, bottom leaves. And if you see that right there, that's because I gave my chives a haircut. They were getting pretty crazy growing and had gotten some weeds growing in there. So I just went ahead and cut them all. And then they'll grow back. And you can do that with your chives, you know, 2, 3, 4 times a season. Cut it all back and they all grow back. It's actually very healthy for them. It's good for them to do that. Here's my zucchini plant that I started. So it's gotten pretty good size. But yeah, so if you have chives that you, or even your thyme, my thyme here, and my oregano over there, it needs to be cut back too. You just cut it back and they just grow back. They're kind of like weeds actually, the way they grow. Kind of hard to even kill if you try. And I do the same thing here with this little stand of chives. Right here, I cut them back as well. My poor cat, Mint, it has seen better days. I had this container on the ground. The cat found it. She wallowed in it, scratched it up, ate half of it. And so then it didn't want to do anything. So it's finally starting to come back. And if she even gets near it, she knows it's there. And she comes running. And I have to hide it from her. It's really quite pathetic. Who knew a cat could be so stinking destructive? I mean, they are when they dig and poop and stuff in your garden. But I'm talking about chewing and that kind of thing. It's ridiculous. My alums. Aren't they beautiful? Oh, and got a little butterfly over there. These ones are just getting ready to open. Isn't that beautiful? Very excited. Man, I literally had gotten all the weeds out of here just last week. There was no weeds anywhere. And look at it already. It's crazy. Weeds will be the death of you. That's pretty much concludes this garden tour for this week. I don't have a lot coming out of the garden. I'm somewhat disappointed. I was telling my husband last night that, you know, I feel like I've done all this effort and all this work and it just, I'm not getting a lot of produce. I normally by this time of year would have just buckets of stuff coming out, you know, zucchini and squash and cucumbers, and well, all those plants have died or, you know, succumbed to disease or bugs. Mostly the bugs have been just atrocious this year, and from what I've talked to other fellow gardeners in the state and where I live, they're having a lot of the same issues as well. I'm going to definitely try some different things next year, but I'm a little discouraged, you know, but that's part of gardening. You're going to have good years, you're going to have bad years. It looks pretty. I may not be getting a lot of produce. I may still be having to buy stuff. But now my friends and other fellow gardeners, we kind of swap and trade stuff. But it's been a learning experience. Definitely will do some things different next year. And hopefully I'll get more produce that way. But I've had time to actually reflect and learn and plant a fall garden. So that's good. Normally I'm so busy with production and stuff that I don't even have time to think about seeding stuff. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise, because that's something I've wanted to do. It's something I've wanted to try, and I'm finally getting it done. So that's good. But it's getting really hot out here, if you can tell by the sun that's blazing on my face. I'll do another one next week. I don't know how many changes there will be, but I hope to see you then. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up if you like the video. If there's anything you'd like to see or have me do, put it in the comments. Any comments or questions or anything, suggestions, things that I could be doing differently or whatnot, again, put them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. So until next time, happy gardening.